So winter's here. You look outside, and that bird bath in your backyard, it's a solid block of ice. We're going to fix that. Today, we're talking about how to turn that frozen problem into a life-saving water source for your local birds using some really smart, safe, and cheap DIY methods. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you know the look. Your bird bath has basically become a tiny, sad ice rink. For us, it's just, part of the winter scenery. But for the birds that count on it, that's a critical resource that has just completely disappeared.
And this is really the heart of it. This isn't just some nice little luxury we're providing. Having access to liquid water when everything else is frozen solid, that can literally be the difference between a bird making it through the winter or not. For a lot of them, a reliable backyard spot like this is a genuine lifeline.
So why is it such a big deal? Well, birds need water for two huge reasons. One is obvious. They've got to drink to stay hydrated, just like us. But the second reason is just as important. They need to bathe. Keeping their feathers clean is how they stay insulated against that bitter cold. So yeah, having liquid water literally helps them stay warm.
Now let's be clear, we're not trying to build a hot tub for the finches here. The goal is to get the water somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. That's the sweet spot. It's just warm enough so it doesn't freeze. It's totally safe and comfortable for the birds. And, really important, it's super energy efficient to keep it at that temp.
Okay, before we dive into the fun stuff, the actual building, we have to talk about the most important part of any project that mixes electricity and water, the safety rules. These are absolutely non-negotiables. You've got to get this right.
There are 4 rules you just have to follow. First, always plug into a GFCI outlet. That's a ground fault circuit interrupter. It's designed to kill the power in a split second if there's a problem, which protects you and everyone else from shock. Second, only use extension cords that are rated for outdoor use. They're built tough to handle the cold and wet. Third, keep the water shallow. About 1 to 2 inches is perfect. Any deeper can be a risk for smaller birds. And fourth, and this is a big one, never, ever add antifreeze or any other chemicals to the water. Period.
All right, safety briefing complete. Now, let's get into the good stuff. 5 different, really creative ways you can heat your bird bath. We're going to go from the super simple to the a bit more advanced. So you can pick the one that's just right for your backyard and, your comfort level with this kind of stuff.
First up, we've got a real fan favorite, the Terracotta Pot heater. The idea here is just beautiful in its simplicity. You take a low wattage light bulb, like a 40-watt bulb is plenty. Put it under an upside-down terracotta pot, and then you just set your bird bath right on top. The pot traps all that gentle heat from the bulb and transfers it right up into the water.
This one's perfect for places with milder winters. The pros are pretty obvious. It is so simple and cheap to put together and run. The only real downside is that it might struggle when the temperature really drops. Oh, and a quick tip. You've got to make sure that little hole in the pot stays clear for ventilation so it doesn't overheat.
Next, let's tap into a totally free power source, the sun. A solar heater is crazy simple. You just use a black painted bowl or add some dark-colored rocks to your bird bath. Those dark surfaces absorb the sun's heat and warm up the water naturally. The huge win here? The energy is 100% free. But it's not really a standalone solution if you live somewhere that gets seriously cold. It just doesn't work at night or on those long, cloudy, freezing days. It's best to think of this as a great helper for another method, or maybe the perfect choice if your winters are pretty sunny.
Now, if you want something that's just totally dependable, consistent, and basically zero effort once you've got it going, then you want a submersible aquarium heater. This is pretty much the set-it-and-forget-it option. This little guy is perfect for harsh winters because it has its own thermostat. That means it only kicks on when the water gets too cold, which saves a ton of energy. The only catch? You have to make sure your bird bath is deep enough to keep the heater completely underwater all the time, just like the instructions say. That's crucial.
Feeling a little festive? Well, Method 4 is an awesome old-school trick that uses a bit of holiday spirit, the Christmas light heater. Now we're talking about the old incandescent bulbs here, not the modern LEDs, because those old ones actually give off a nice amount of heat. This works surprisingly well for moderately cold weather. You just wrap a string of outdoor-rated incandescent lights around the outside of the bird bath, and then wrap that with some aluminum foil to reflect all the heat back into the basin. It's super cheap, but just remember, those bulbs do burn out, so it's a good idea to have some extras handy. And finally, for the true DIY pro living in a place that gets seriously cold, we have the heavy hitter, the extreme cold winter, the heated platform. This project involves building a small, insulated wooden platform that your bird bath sits on, and you install an outdoor heating cable right inside it. This is the ultimate long-term setup. It's incredibly durable, it gives you nice, even heat, and you can even hook it up to a thermostat to make it more efficient. The only real con is that, yeah, it's a bit more complex and takes more time to build. But if you want a permanent solution that can laugh in the face of winter, this is your project. Okay, so you've built your heater, it's up and running, and the water is liquid. Fantastic, but your job isn't quite over. Let's quickly go over the super simple but really important maintenance to keep it working safely all season long. It really just comes down to 3 easy things. First, top off the water every day. Even when it's cold out, the water will evaporate, especially since it's being gently heated. Second, give the bath a quick scrub about once a week. This keeps things clean and healthy for the birds. And third, just give your cords and heater a quick look over every so often to check for any damage and make sure everything is still safe. So, after all that, the planning, the building, the upkeep, what's the real payoff? Well, it's pretty simple. You get to be a backyard hero. You're providing a genuine lifeline that has a real, positive impact on the birds in your neighborhood.
And that's the real reward, isn't it? It's that quiet moment when you look out your window on a snowy day, and instead of an empty yard, it's full of life. You'll get to watch those bright red cardinals, the little bouncing chickadees, and all sorts of finches stopping by for a drink, thriving right through the winter, all because of that little haven you created for them.
So I guess the only question left is, which method are you going to choose? Whether it's the simple terracotta pot or you go all in on the heated platform, you're going to be making a huge difference. So which backyard hero will you be this winter?